Hey guys, what's up? It's Zane. Today I wanted to touch up on small business owners, right? And how small business owners can go about starting their own business and how they should register a name, right? And this is a very common question small business owners have. You may be thinking of starting a business and you don't know how to go about it. And you're thinking, how should I go about this, Zane? Like, I have no idea what I should do. And guys, I just want to say really quickly the most common type of business entities that small business owners, if you're just starting out and you have this great idea for a business, is either they form a solo proprietorship or they form a LLC, right? Or if you're a professional, you form a PLLC. Not all states have PLLCs. A PLC is a professional limited liability company. A LLC is a limited liability company, and a solo proprietorship is just you doing business yourself, right? And guys, there's not really much of a difference between a solo proprietorship and LLC as far as like the entity goes. There are tax protections, which I'll get into in another video, but to form a solo proprietorship, you don't really need much. All you need is your name. If you're going to do business as your name, you can just start doing business with your name in most states, right? You're a solo proprietor. You just use your name. However, if you are going to use a different name to do business with, like a fictitious name or a doing business as name or an assumed name or a trade name, whatever you call it, usually it's called fictitious names. So let's say your name is Stephanie Rowan, right? Your name is Stephanie Rowan, and you want to start your own business. And let's say you provide consulting services. You provide consulting services for intermediate schools, right? How intermediate private schools can better provide services and target students. So what you would do is just name yourself Stephanie Rowan Intermediate Schools Consulting Services, or Stephanie Rowan Consulting Firm, or Stephanie Rowan's School Firm, something like that, right? As long as your name's in it. If your name's in it, you're good to go. You don't have to file anything with the county, the state, none of that, right? And you don't have to do anything. Now, if you are going to name yourself something else besides your first and last name, let's say you decide to name yourself Innovative School Firm, and then you have a little trademark named Innovative School Firm, right? Moving intermediate schools forward, right? Or something like that. There's no way people can tell that's you, right? There's no way people know that you're Stephanie Rowan, you're doing business as that name. So what you would do is you would file in your county, wherever your office is located, that you're Stephanie Rowan, you're going to do business as this name, Intermediate School Firm, right? And you're going to file in the county of records that this is what you want to do business as, right? And when you file that certificate of an assumed name or fictitious name, what that tells people is that you're Stephanie Rowan, but you're doing business as this name. And it's really important for people to know who you are, right? Because what if they want to sue you? Let's hope they never want to sue you. But if they want to sue you, they got to be able to know that this is you. You're the owner of this firm. You're doing business as this firm, right? People don't want to be able to assume that who's the owner of this, right? Now, that's one of the most common ways people start businesses is just a solo proprietor, right? If they go with their first and last name, if they do a fictitious name, they just file with the county of records, and it's very simple. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You just file in the county that this is how you want to do business as, and you're a solo proprietor. That's it. You're not a LLC. You're not a PLC. Another common way small business owners start a firm is an LLC, which you have to usually file with the Secretary of State. And you file that by filing a certificate of formation, articles of incorporation, whatever it is in your state, whatever it's called. And usually you pay a fee to file that. And for that, you need a lot of things. You need a registered agent, right? You need an actual physical address. You need to have a purpose as well. And your purpose could be as small as one sentence. And your purpose just defines why you're doing business or what your business is. And it can't go outside that scope, right? Usually your purpose will be, if you're doing a consulting firm, let's say you're Stephanie Rowan and you're want to file a LLC and you're doing a consulting firm, right? You're going to write, you're going to provide you're going to provide consulting expertise and services to intermediate schools, intermediate private schools. That's it, just one sentence. Provide consulting services to intermediate private schools. And that's it, you're good to go. You're going to get an agent, you're going to give your address, you're going to be the organizer, and that's easy. You can just fill that out, file it, pay the filing fees, and you're good to go. Now, the benefits of having an LLC is that your assets are protected, right? Let's say you get sued. If you're a solo proprietor, and I'm going to make another video on this later. If you're a solo proprietor, what's going to happen is when you get sued, since you have no other entity, it's just you doing business as whatever it is, either your name or a fictitious name. I already said how to file a fictitious name certificate. When you get sued, you're going to be personally liable on your assets, right? They're going to sue you pretty much. Now, if you were doing business as an LLC and your LLC was doing business, right? They're going to sue your LLC while it's in the scope of its business, right? If it was engaged in business, right? You can still be liable for like personal torts and stuff like that are outside the scope of the LLC, right? But for the most part, if you have an LLC, your assets are protected. They can't go after you individually. They can go after your LLC. But at the same time, you want to make sure your LLC has enough assets. If they don't, they can pierce the corporate veil and come after you if you've underfunded your LLC, if you've hid your assets and you've done some colluding of funds and stuff like that. So, guys, if you have an LLC, make sure you're properly complying with the requirements of the LLC. You have an agent, you have a purpose, you're doing business as an LLC. If you're doing business as a solo proprietor, you don't really have to file anything, just a fictitious name certificate. You don't even have to have a registered agent, right? You don't have to have anything. And an LLC has to have a registered agent. That's just the requirement for people to serve your entity. It's a separate entity itself, right? When you create an LLC, you're pretty much two people. You're yourself and the LLC. When you're doing business as a solo proprietor, it's just you by yourself, so you don't need a registered agent. When you form an LLC, you need to have a registered agent for that LLC because it's a different person, and people need to know who to sue if they're suing your LLC. You yourself can serve as the registered agent for your LLC. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's how people do business. Small business owners do business either as an LLC or a solo proprietor. If I was to pick between one of those two, I would definitely pick an LLC because of the greater protections it offers. But then at the same time, when you form an LLC, you got to have an operating agreement. You got to make sure you form it as a S Corp or a C Corp for tax purposes, right? So if you have any questions about how to form an LLC or any questions about solo proprietorship or how to do businesses, any questions about what documents you need to have for an LLC, get in touch with me and I'll give you all the resources I have and I'll help you out as much as I can, guys, all right? My contact information is listed below. You can contact me on Facebook, email me, call me, whatever. All right, guys? That's all I wanted to say. Peace. I am out.